Hi. Working as a child psychiatrist in India for more than 18 years now, one thing I've realized is that mental health problems in children and adolescents is a hugely neglected and unnoticed area in our country. The COVID in that sense has brought to light some of the difficulties that children might go through, especially in these trying times. With the schools shutting down for more than 1.5 years now, parents and other stakeholders have had the opportunity to take a closer look at the emotional and behavior difficulties that children might be going through. So the first thing I would talk about is acceptance of the difficult situation that children have been in. All of us have been in, but I think the most difficult for children has been to be cooped up in their homes, not being able to go to school, not being able to interact with their peers, the inability to go to spaces and activities that are of their interest and which bring them joy and meaning. All those have stopped, and therefore for parents to accept that this has been a very difficult time, and in these difficult times it's become the norm that children have had difficulties with their sleep pattern, with their appetite, sometimes with their moods and mood swings. And be aware that some of these behavioral changes that we see, the changes in their sleep pattern or appetite or the multiple physical complaints they often talk about, is a sign, it's a reflection of their inner emotional state. And many kids are really, really suffering inside because of the uncertainty and the fear and anxiety that we are all dealing with. The second thing they can do is to attempt to create what we call emotionally safe spaces inside their homes, which means create a kind of a space where children do not feel judged. They do not feel criticized and looked down upon when they either behave in ways that are not expected or express feelings that can be disturbing to adults, such as those of anger or fear or anxiety or even low moods or mood swings for that matter. Listen deeply, and many times, when children come to us with any kind of complaints, the first thing as parents or as adults who care for children want to do is to sort it out, and they're looking for solutions immediately. And I don't blame parents for that, because that's their job to take care of children. But that's not what most of the children are looking for. What they're asking for is an understanding, empathy and compassion for what they're going through. They're not necessarily looking for solutions all the time. The fourth thing that we often talk about is a collaborative approach, where you listen to the child and then understand it and paraphrase it and then say to the child that, I have a viewpoint as well. I'm worried too, and I've been through very difficult times myself as a parent. But I wonder whether too much of screen, let's say, is doing any good to you, or I wonder whether not going out at all is helping in any way. And this is my view, that perhaps we could try and adopt or change certain things in this situation. So that's the me position, right? And then of course you try and dovetail it, you bring it together and say, okay, so that's your opinion, that's your experience, this is my view, this is my experience. Let's sort out something together and take the we position and say that let's do this together. We together will find a solution, and that is crucial, and it is empowering for the child. It gives them a sense of agency and a sense of responsibility when you do that. And the last thing that I often talk about is respecting the child's wiring. Each child is wired and inspired differently, as we say. Situation affects different children in different ways. For instance, the lockdown for many children has been extremely difficult, especially the ones who were got their joy from going out, meeting friends, playing sports, going to the park, going to music or theatre classes and so on, or even going to school for that matter. Those kids have really, really suffered because all those opportunities have gone. But there are a smaller bunch of introverted kids, who did not like school, who found going and playing with other kids or those demands or expectations from school or other people too heavy and sometimes full of pressure. And those kids have actually thrived in this situation. And that is because they're wired differently. The way their brain is made up is different, and they respond to the environment in different ways. And it's important to understand that each child, even two children in the same home, will have very different kinds of temperaments. And it's important to acknowledge that, accept that, and respond to your child on that basis with respect and with patience.